So I actually want to share with you today some of the things which have happened in the last 10 years, because particularly to the Indians in the room, many of you would take it for granted, or many of you, may not even be aware of it. But these are actually very deep changes which have been of great impact when it comes to mobility. 10 years ago, if you wanted a passport, there were, I think, 77 places in India to which you could apply. Today, in the last 10 years, we have added 468 more such places. So pretty much any citizen of India is actually today able to apply for a passport by journeying at best a few hours, as compared to what it was 10 years ago, when actually you had to make a trip to, if not a metropolis, at least to a good-sized town, and probably spend a few days in order to just get a passport. So this expansion of actually a passport, because passport is where your mobility begins, international mobility begins. Moving on from that, getting a passport used to be a very hard challenge in this country. I mean, I tell people, when many of us, I see Vikas Sarup sitting here, when many of us actually joined the Foreign Service, people in your locality said, aha, we now know someone who will help us get a passport. Okay. Today, I mean, nobody even talks about it. In fact, if somebody doesn't get a passport within a week or 10 days, I get some pretty angry social media comments. So the speed at which we do passports, the clarity of documentation, we've actually streamlined it. And, when we speak today about digital governance, in fact, in many ways, it is our passport program which is the poster child of digital governance. Now, it isn't just in India. We also used to have a situation where if you lost your passport, it was very difficult to get it replaced or renewed abroad. And if you lived in one country, you couldn't get it done in another country. Now, that's gone. Just like in India, you can today apply for a passport anywhere, because we know people are also internally mobile. So you don't have to go to your home state or your district or your hometown to actually renew your passport or apply for your passport. You can do it from anywhere. The fifth one is actually when people are abroad, they will have problems. There has to be a channel to address those problems. And, it cannot be episodic. It cannot be, I know somebody, so I complain and they look at me. There's got to be a system to it. And again, one of the big changes is a portal we started about little more than 10 years ago, called Madad, which means help. It's an acronym. And just to give you a sense of how much that portal is being used, I was clearing Parliament questions for the week. Tomorrow and day after are my Parliament days. In the last 3 years, only in the Gulf, we actually have addressed 138,000 grievances using the Madad portal. So that gives you the kind of scale of both the demand and the ability today to respond. Now, another, I would say, mechanism which we actually have expanded its usage is something called the Indian Community Welfare Fund. We collect a cess on passport and consular services, and that is used to address the needs of people who are in distress. And again, I'm just giving you a figure because I was looking at it early this morning for my Parliament questions. In the last 3 years, 238,000 people have benefited from the use of this Community Welfare Fund. These are people for whom we may have bought tickets back home, who had legal cases abroad. In some cases, they may have passed away, so their last rites were done. So, I mean, there'll be a variety of stuff. So, the point I'm making is that when we speak about mobility, it isn't a question of giving a speech and telling people, it's a great idea and, we have comparative advantages and we should be going out. Unless you back it up with a whole lot of practical steps on the ground, unless you actually, as I say, prepare a workforce, equip a workforce, secure a workforce outside, you are actually not doing justice to the issue of mobility. And sometimes it can be exhortative as well. We often today make it almost an SOP to visit labor camps. I mean, I think even when the Prime Minister goes abroad, particularly to the Gulf countries, you would often see him making it a point to actually visit a camp where people are working on site. Often it's a construction site or a big service site. And, when that starts from the very top, I think the rest of the system certainly gets the message. And this combination, the combination of doing things physically, of using, digital platforms. I spoke about grievances. Even for consular services, when you live abroad, you need attestations of various kinds. You need people to certify documents of various kinds. Today we have a program called E-Seva, where most people upload it online, they get their reply online. So the embrace of digital mediums, the creation of a physical infrastructure, the improvement of services, the motivation that is given, all of this today is actually preparing a global workforce. Now, having said that, things do go wrong.